17, going hard, spending all my money, you know, doing whatever to get where I'm at now.
Okay, and I guess for a while now, you've had a 9-to-5 job.
Yes, sir.
When the spotlight dims, certain rap icons don't disappear. They clock into a different grind.
Think about between 16 and 15, man, I had about 12 jobs in 1 year, just trying to, you know, live different, man, trying to elevate, trying to do something different. Instead of being my own boss, let me go get a job.
BFB DA Pacman transitioned from breakout virality to carrying mail for a living, even as his music hit massive streaming numbers. Bun B, a foundational force in the South, now teaches at Rice University while running one of the nation's most acclaimed burger spots, and some peers made reinventions even more unexpected. These are the hip-hop figures who stepped back from fame to take everyday jobs, and the reasons behind their choices. BFB DA Pacman. We begin with one of the rawest, most unfiltered storytellers the culture has produced. BFB DA Pacman, born Terry Jawan Thomas, hails from the unforgiving blocks of Flint, Michigan. This isn't the polished rise to riches narrative. It's a far grittier journey. Imagine a teen surviving a shooting at 17, facing gun and narcotics charges, and scrambling for stability by any means he could find.
Think about between 16 and 15, man, I had about 12 jobs in 1 year, just trying to, you know, live different, man, trying to elevate, trying to do something different. Instead of being my own boss, let me go get a job. Let me go, you know, let me just try something.
Once he wrapped probation in 2015, he moved down to Houston and secured a position with the United States Postal Service. And this wasn't some fallback plan. It became the base that grounded him. While friends chased fast hustles and risky payouts, BFB showed up on the clock, dropping off parcels by day and cutting tracks in a closet studio after hours. His breakthrough arrived in 2020 with Free Joe Exotic, a joint record with Sada Baby that soared past 10 million YouTube views in roughly 6 weeks. The song stood in direct contrast to mainstream rap at the time, self-aware, comedic, and brutally open about his size and personal battles. Lines like "My about to leave me cause I'm built like Patrick" exploded into viral quotables. Overnight, a postal worker from Flint became the talk of hip-hop. His debut project, Fat N***** Guess Need Love Too, featured major collaborators like Wiz Khalifa and Benny the Butcher, confirming he carried legitimate industry weight. Yet here's the twist in BFB's story. Despite the fame, the millions of spins, the festival slots, and the elite features, he refused to give up his USPS position. In interviews, he laid out the reasoning clearly.
And were you rapping at that point?
Yeah, I always rap. I started taking raps. I always rapped since I was young, man. My cousin, his name's Smoke, he was like a rapper, and he lived in Topeka, Kansas. And I think they said Too Short or Ice Cube had called the phone and he never fulfilled his dreams or something like that.
The postal gig supplied what the rap world couldn't always promise: consistent income, medical coverage, and a union that genuinely protected its people.
Okay, listen, man, there's no shame in having a job. I think people in hip-hop try to glamorize doing illegal to get by and not having a job when you're taking a way bigger risk doing anything illegal.
Oh, no, facts. And I'd be quick to tell her, listen, ain't no shame, bro.
Even while touring, BFB keeps that federal job active.
You mentioned that you've shot the video with Sada Baby. The next morning you had to take your kids to daycare, and then you had to be to work at the post office. Yeah. At this point in time, you have a distribution situation with a serious distributor that you just put your new album out. You're still not working at the post office, are you?
Yeah.
You still are?
Yeah.
You have to be part-time though.
This how it is, right? So after I come off tour, after I get done running around, I go back home and go back to work.
Still to this day.
Still to this day.
By 2025, even with an estimated net worth around $7 million, he continues working for USPS. He releases projects, performs at hometown shows in Flint, and maintains his steady employment. His stance remains intentional. There's no shame in holding down a regular career while pursuing your passion. Bun B. Now we shift to a certified Southern trailblazer, a figure who helped carve Texas hip-hop into the national landscape. Bun B, known legally as Bernard James Freeman, born March 19, 1973, in Port Arthur, Texas, is one half of the legendary duo UGK, Underground Kings. And when the conversation turns to architects of the Dirty South, his name must be in the frame. Bun B's rise began in the late 1980s, when he connected with Chad Pimp C Butler during high school, forming a partnership that would shape Southern rap for decades.
Pimp came about with basically Jay-Z calling us up, said he had a nice track, thought that we would sound good on it. Said the track Oprah, and I was like, yeah, I can dig that, that shouldn't be a problem, man. It was different, than anything we had really done previously with UGK, but I knew it was going to be a big record, but Pimp had his own reservations about it as far as just making sure that it didn't take us too far in a direction that we couldn't come back from. At the end of the day, it ended up being a big record for us. Oh, absolutely. It almost didn't happen.
Their synergy was unmatched. Bun delivering sharp, high-velocity lyricism while Pimp C crafted warm, blues-infused production. Together, they laid the foundation for a southern movement that would eventually dominate the industry. Their 1992 debut Too Hard to Swallow announced their unfiltered style, with Pocket Full of Stones receiving national radio traction. But the turning point arrived with 1996 Riding Dirty, which climbed to number 2 on the R&B hip-hop charts. Then came their defining moment, the 2000 collaboration with Jay-Z on Big Pimpin', vaulting UGK into mainstream visibility. By 2007, their double album Underground Kings topped the Billboard 200, with international players' anthem, I Choose You, becoming a cultural staple. But everything shifted when Pimp C died in 2007 from a drug overdose. For Bun B, this was more than the loss of a partner. It was the loss of family. Without Pimp C's production brilliance and creative chemistry, Bun's solo catalog, though widely praised, couldn't recreate that signature UGK dynamic. Records like Trill OG and Return of the Trill held weight but felt like closing chapters. At the same time, the industry was evolving. Streaming reshaped revenue, and even icons faced fractional payouts per stream. So Bun B pivoted. In 2011, he accepted a role as an adjunct professor at Rice University, leading a course titled Religion and Hip-Hop Culture. Yes, an MC from Port Arthur teaching at a top-tier academic institution. Professor Anthony Pinn invited him after recognizing Bun's depth of insight into hip-hop spiritual layers. And the evolution didn't stop there. Alongside teaching, Bun B built a culinary venture of his own.
It's going to be a very difficult interview for me to do because it's hard to interview a family member. Because you be like, damn, where do you start? Where do you know, damn, I know everything, but I hope I do. So I'm doing this for y'all. Today, I got the king of the trio.
I'm making my head fit on the post.
Yeah, the man with the #1 burger in America. Okay? UGK. You feel me? I got Bun B in the house.
I'm so happy to be.
By 2025, at age 52, his work in academia stands as a defining part of who he is. His routine includes cataloging cultural materials, educating students, and engaging in discussions on social justice issues from police violence to voting access, hands-on community engagement. Meanwhile, he helms Trill Burgers, his Houston-based restaurant, showing he's fully embraced the entrepreneurial lane as well.
What's the Trill Burger experience? Walk us through.
The Trill Burger experience is really, most burgers, when people eat hamburgers, they're really not addicted to the burger. They're addicted to the condiments that they like on the burger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So typically when you go somewhere and get a burger, regardless of what the burger have on it, if you like mayonnaise, you're going to put some mayonnaise on the burger. If you like mustard, you're going to put it on there. But that's because that's what you like, because a patty typically don't really taste like shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a steak. A real good steak don't need steak sauce.
With an estimated net worth near $4 million, he could easily live in full luxury. But instead, he's chosen a life centered on service, education, and safeguarding hip-hop's legacy. Gerardo Mejia, Rico Suave. Now, we pivot to an artist who injected a bold wave of Latino identity into the culture. Gerardo Mejia, widely recognized as Rico Suave, was born April 16, 1965, in Guayaquil, Ecuador. He immigrated to the United States at age 12, settling in Glendale, California, where he immediately absorbed the city's diverse creative landscape. Before music ever took hold, Gerardo excelled as a breakdancer, winning a national competition as a teenager and walking away with $50,000. He perfected his signature locking style and even landed roles in films such as Can't Buy Me Love and Colors. But the issue pressing him most was the absence of empowering Latino representation in hip-hop. The portrayals he saw were either flat stereotypes or outright disrespect. So he built the character of Rico Suave, a smooth-spoken, charismatic Latin figure designed to flip those narratives. After signing to the up-and-coming label Interscope Records, he released Rico Suave in 1990, and the record exploded. The single reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and climbed to number 2 on the Hot Rap Singles chart, while the accompanying video, featuring Gerardo shirtless, bandana-tied, fronting his dance crew, became a mainstay on MTV. Lines like "I'm not too cool to get my hands dirty" connected with audiences, and the track held its chart position for 18 weeks, earning 2 MTV Video Music Award nominations. At just 25, Gerardo became one of the earliest Latino artists to secure major crossover success in the US, helping establish Interscope as a rising powerhouse. His debut album Mo Ritmo went gold, surpassing 500,000 sales. But then the darker side of celebrity emerged. By 2003, after years marked by infidelity and internal turmoil, Gerardo hit what he calls his moment of reckoning. He confessed everything to his wife, and in that instant of complete collapse, returned to his Christian faith. As he told Oprah in 2016, "I knew I was a dirt bag." But that confession became the first step toward redemption. By 2025, at age 60, Gerardo has taken on a new identity as Pastor G, leading House of Grace Church in Ashland, Kentucky. Yes, from chart-topping Latin icon to pastor in a small Appalachian town. He and Kathy reconciled after a long period of healing, eventually building a non-denominational church that prioritizes sincerity over spectacle. His doctrine is straightforward yet resonant. Don't hide behind facades. Live truthfully. His youth outreach centers on Hispanic and Appalachian communities, using his Rico Suave era as a warning about the traps of fame. Compensation for pastors in smaller towns generally falls around $40,000 to $60,000 annually, and his income is supported by his Rico Suave coffee line, launched in 2024, along with residuals from his music catalog. I Love Makanen. Now we focus on an artist emblematic of an entirely different moment in hip-hop. I Love Makanen, born Makanen Kamali Shiran on April 12, 1989, in South Los Angeles, rose to prominence in 2014 with the track Tuesday, originally titled Club Going Up on a Tuesday, produced by Sunny Digital and Metro Boomin. The song was hazy, unconventional, built on Makanen's falsetto recounting molefueled nights in a style that shouldn't have worked but captivated listeners anyway. Then Drake heard it, dropped an unsolicited remix, and the record skyrocketed to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, earned a Grammy nomination, and secured Makanen a deal with OVO Sound. But turbulence followed. OVO repeatedly delayed his releases, leaving completed songs from his album in limbo. Old tweets criticizing Drake as corny resurfaced in 2016, creating strain within the camp. Then in 2017, Makanen publicly came out as gay on Twitter, becoming one of the first openly gay mainstream hip-hop artists. The backlash was swift and harsh. Friends pulled away, his streaming numbers fell, and as he told Hot New Hip Hop in 2025, he endured a few years of just silence. By 2024, he formally announced the retirement of the I Love Makanen persona. Then in August 2025, a viral clip ignited online chatter. Makanen in a kitchen, apron on, cooking. The jokes flew, claims he'd fallen off, that he'd gone from Drake collaborations to flipping burgers. But the actual story was very different. Makanen was raising funds for Burn Money Studios, his creative hub in Portland that had suffered fire damage. He was participating as a guest chef, and made it clear he felt no embarrassment whatsoever.
At work type shit. Look at all these people out here. They hungry and shit, you know? I mean, they're working and getting this money. You know what I'm saying? If you need me to come guest chef at your motherfucking spot, holla at me. Let me know what city I'm coming through, cooking up. We got the smash burgers going off tonight, you know? I'm tired already though, but you know, I love cooking for the people. So if y'all need me to pull up, let me know where.
The chef shifts, likely earning somewhere in the $30,000 to $50,000 range typical for line cooks, add an extra layer of stability to his roughly $1 million in music earnings. But more importantly, the work gives him a grounding he never found in fame. When critics mocked him online, he fired back, "Y'all turned your back on me." And he wasn't wrong. The same industry that elevated him after Drake's co-sign abandoned him when he came out and later when his sound stopped fitting neatly into algorithm culture. Yet I Love Makanen continues the creative journey under the name Makanen, still putting out music here and there, still choosing authenticity over approval. Khalees. Now we move to an artist who has always defied convention. Khalees Rogers, born August 21st, 1979, in Harlem, New York, arrived with a striking fusion of R&B, hip-hop, soul, and electronic edge, and a voice that demanded attention. A mutual friend introduced her to the Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad Hugo, in 1997, sparking an instant musical connection. Virgin Records signed her in 1998, and in 1999 she released Kaleidoscope, produced entirely by the Neptunes. Its lead single, Caught Out There, erupted internationally, powered by the now iconic scream "I Hate You So Much Right Now," and reached number 54 on the UK singles chart. But her cultural peak arrived in 2003 with Milkshake. That record climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 2 in the UK, and became an undeniable pop culture force. The cheeky lyrics, the unmistakable beat, and Khalees' commanding presence made it unforgettable. Her album Tasty moved more than 500,000 units in the US, and she dominated MTV rotation, award shows, and mainstream media. But behind the scenes, the reality was harsh. As a teenage newcomer, Khalees had been financially exploited by both her label and the Neptunes. She told The Guardian in 2020, "The Neptunes and their lawyers robbed me blind." She saw no profit from Kaleidoscope or Wonderland, the latter of which Virgin didn't even release in the United States despite its UK success. Then came the personal turmoil. She married Nas in 2005. By 2010, she filed for divorce while 7 months pregnant with their son, Knight, citing abuse. She later told Oprah in 2016 that seeing Rihanna's 2009 assault woke me up to her own circumstances. The messy split, custody fights, and Nas's lyrical jabs drained her emotionally and financially. And yet, this is where her resilience crystallized. In 2007, during the promotion of Khalees Was Here, she enrolled at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris and New York, emerging as a trained sorcier. As she told Harper's Bazaar, "It opened my life. No one cared I was famous." Her mother's catering business had planted the seeds for this next chapter, and tracks like Milkshake in hindsight hinted at her culinary passion all along. By 2014, she released Food, a lush soul-funk project hailed by critics as career-defining, earning 5 stars from The Independent, while NME named it the top album of 2014. She followed it with Bounty and Full Sources in 2015 and a cookbook, My Life on a Plate, cementing her reinvention. But the story took a dramatic turn in 2020. Khalees sold her Los Angeles home and purchased a 4-acre farm in Temecula, California, stocked with around 100 animals, chickens, sheep, cattle, embracing agriculture fully. Then, in 2024, fed up with systemic barriers and what she described as America's limited investment opportunities for black women, she made an audacious decision. She relocated to Nairobi, Kenya. On the Earn Your Leisure podcast, she explained, "As a black woman, I don't benefit from investing here." She secured 150 acres in Kenya with a manageable mortgage of about $2,000 per month, something impossible in California, and moved with her mother, aunt, and children. There, she's constructing a solar-fenced, elephant-resistant farm, a wellness retreat slated for a 2026 opening, and a restaurant celebrating Afro-Caribbean flavors. Her aim? To expand the land to 300 acres. In October 2025, she shared an update on her Kenyan transition, calling it the African dream, safe, investable. Her farm income remains modest, likely between $50,000 and $100,000 annually through produce and her source line, but streaming royalties provide a steady cushion. Khalees' path, from Milkshake to milking livestock, from Harlem to Nairobi, shows that reinvention isn't an escape from the past. It's the radical act of designing a future on your own terms.